Okay, this is going to be my journal for Journal 2. So I wanted to talk about, first of all, like how we empower students. The video mentioned like letting students decide their route and strategies and choosing materials and resources to choose the theme and letting them ask questions, etc. But I kind of wanted to think about how do we get there to those first steps. Like students, before they get to this process, need to have been taught, guided, scaffolded into like decision making, because I've experienced in like my teaching or my field teaching that a lot of the time students, whenever you say, hey, make a choice, they're just like, what? And they have a moment of panic. I mean, same as we all kind of do when faced with like a daunting choice. So I would love to empower my students. I believe in that, but I also feel that we need to scaffold. You can't just toss them in on the first day. The same as I watched the documentary about High Tech High, and the first day in the classroom, the teacher said, okay, you guys choose your desks and line up in like a Socratic form, and they just sat there and they're like, we don't know what to do. And so he broke it down and showed them, and then he backed off. He said, here's one instruction, and he backed off. And so then the students had to figure out what to do from that point, and eventually they got to the point where they started creating things and they were empowered, and they started asking themselves. They were in charge of like setting their own deadlines and their own pace, and they chose the materials. It was amazing. That's it. I also wanted to talk about meaningful learning and how the different aspects of meaningful learning like are meaningful learning. So first of all, we have like the five aspects are intentional. are sorry, I'm in a coffee shop. Are intentional, they're active, they're constructive, they're authentic, and they're cooperative. So all of those make up meaningful learning in a lot of like more natural kind of opportunistic ways. Okay. And so the first aspect is being active in your learning. That's like being manipulative, it's being observant. It's watching something be done, like observing something and figuring out how to do that for yourself. Like the example in the book talked about baseball. Like a kid hit a foul ball and they wanted to stop hitting a foul ball, so they like improved their grip on the bat. It's like watching a YouTube video. Like some of the like the YouTubers like show how they edit their videos, and like that makes it makes getting into like being like a creative person on YouTube like easier, because you can see something be done and then replicate it and do it for yourself. It's also about being like intentional, like goal directed. Like we always, like humans, like we're always seeking something, whether it's just like dopamine, like gratification, or food or shelter or whatever. But once you like blooms, once you get past like that taxonomy and to higher learning, like you start to want to be like goal directed. Like I want to learn how to learn a language. What are the steps to getting into a fluency into a language? Another is being authentic, and that's like complex. So is authentic. This one is most kind of seen in like math classes, like why do I need to learn this? And it's about taking things that you learn like in the classroom and being like have those ideas and concepts replicated and manifested in the real world. So that means like taking and learning from the classroom and applying it to real life scenarios. Like be learning how to like use your math, like to do your taxes, or like to take geometry to figure out how like a certain bookshelf needs to be made for it to fit into your room. That's like taking English and applying it to like figuring out like the symbolism of a video, of like the metaphors in a movie, and what the director is trying to tell you as the audience. We also have cooperative, which is also collaborative, and a lot of times in schools, like we're always told to do like assignments individually, but like humans are we're a social animal. We actually can go crazy without like other human interaction, without being able to talk to people or interact with other people every day. And so why are we always having students do individual work in the classroom? It would be a lot more beneficial to have students work together, because then they can bounce learning off of each other. And like even in a group, even if one student is like doing all the work and another student is doing nothing, like that other student who's still doing nothing is still learning just by being in a group with another person. Like there's no such thing as bad groups. Oh, and the last one is constructive and also articulative and reflective. And that's just being able to take the learning that you're learning in school and out of school, and being able to articulate, this is what I learned, this is how I'm applying it, and reflect like, what do I need to learn past this? Like what other questions am I asking myself to like learn more? What's the step beyond the step that I'm on right now? That's good.